Food is fuel for your body, your mind, and definitely your sport. But let's face it, nutrition is confusing, and the expectations on girls and women to be thin and have a six-pack are exhausting. If you've ever been frustrated with your body, confused about nutrition, obsessed with eating healthy, or guilty when you don't, underate, overate, or overtrained, and overwhelmed with all the pressure, then this podcast is for you. Nutrition can be easy, you can take control of it, but it might start with letting go of control by asking for help and making a change. I'm Lindsay Elizabeth Cortez, sports dietitian and owner of Rise Up Nutrition, where I empower female athletes to overcome nutrition concerns and perform at their highest level, to stop being confused by all the mixed or harmful messages, and finally have confidence in your body as a fierce, fit, and fueled female athlete. Well, hello, Patreon members. Welcome to your very first month of your bonus podcast episode, which is a Ask Me Anything, Ask Me a Question, and I will answer it episode. So again, I think this membership is here because there's so many people who are looking for more personalized answers, right? In a world where there's information overload, we do want answers for us. And I would love if you became a client, but if that's just for whatever reason at all, not in the cards for you at this moment in time, by joining this Patreon membership of Fiercely Fueled Female Athletes, you have an opportunity to ask a credentialed, knowledgeable sports dietitian a question and get a personalized answer, or I should say as personalized as possible. Again, I cannot give medical nutrition therapy and advice without you being a client and me really knowing everything about your health and medical and nutritional history and things like that. But I really do want to take this opportunity with every monthly bonus episode to give you more, direct answers so that you don't have to be so lost and confused using Google all the time and just getting conflicting information and losing your mind over it. We have all been there, whether it's nutrition for sure, or, in my life, it's just other avenues. I get so confused whenever I'm Googling something. It's just like, where's the expert? Where's the answer? So that's the intention behind these monthly episodes that are again, exclusive to our Patreon membership. So because this is our very first one, we're actually going to put a little sneak peek on the usual podcast. So if you're just on Spotify or Apple Podcasts right now listening to this, this is your sneak peek. We're not going to give you the whole episode, but come on over to patreon.com/female athlete nutrition and join. Again, Patreon is a way to support this podcast. You can just give a donation if you appreciate the weekly episodes and want to donate to the mission. This is a free podcast, and I've got to be honest, it takes a lot of time and money to produce, and I want to keep it going. And so any donation is so greatly appreciated. And again, if you want to be a regular donator for $10 a month, you're actually part of this community where I really want to create a space where you can all connect with each other and empower each other on what being fiercely fueled really looks like, really build up this mission of supporting the nutritional and health needs of female athletes. And then again, you get a few perks from me throughout the month, sending out recipes, doing this bonus Q&A episode, as well as just access to some discounts and, just kind of that closer access to me to have resources available to you. So come on over to patreon.com/female athlete nutrition. Not only is this audio recorded, but for our members in the Patreon, I'm doing video. If you guys are into video, if you want to just see me, I don't know, I'm just sitting here, but sometimes video is nice. We've got audio and video going today. I want to give a huge shout out to our founding members because it is always hard to start something or launch something. It's hard to build that momentum. And I know that very first person was probably like, oh, nobody's in this yet. Am I really going to join? Thank you. Thank you so much to our first founding members. I have a huge thank you to give to Amy, to Kristen, to Peyton, to Madeline, and to Colleen. I cannot express like how big of a smile I had on my face when I got that notification of new Patreon member. And I said, okay, this is a thing. We've got a group of gals now who are on board, and I cannot thank you enough, Amy, Kristen, Peyton, Madeline, Colleen, for just jumping on board and saying, let's do this. I appreciate the mission. I support the mission. And hey, let's see if I get some perks out of joining as well. So thank you so much. And check your messages as well. Just want to send you a little thank you in the mail. And all right, without further ado, let's get to this episode. Heading over to our questions. It's the first month. I'm not going to lie, ladies. It's hard to get the ball rolling. We only have one question, but guess what? It is a great question, and I'm going to be able to go in depth on it. So Amy wanted a deep dive on estrogen. She wants to know, why does it get low in Red S? How does it influence things such as cardiovascular health or your organs, digestion, blood cells, etc.? What are some strategies and foods for increasing estrogen, and whether the estradiol patch is recommended and for how long? Amy says there's so much conflicting information, and most physicians are quick to jump to medications, which feels like it's just masking the underlying problem. Thanks. Well, thank you, Amy, for your question. And because this is our only one, we are going to go deep into estrogen. So let's just, I think, start with what the heck is estrogen. It is a hormone in our body. Its biggest role, we call it a reproductive hormone because it does help with the process of reproduction, making babies, but it does have a lot of other roles in our health. Also, estrogen is actually a category of hormones. We do have different types of estrogen. First and foremost, the one called estradiol, or E2. That's the one that's most prevalent in our lives between puberty and menopause. So as an adult female with a menstrual cycle, E2 or estradiol is the one that's really being produced in the most amounts and has the most effects on your health. During pregnancy, we have more estriol, which is E3. And when we hit menopause and postmenopause, we have estrone, which is E1. So they do have slightly different effects on our body. We're going to focus today's conversation on estradiol and E2. Now, from a big picture overview, Amy's question was, why does it get low in Red S? And again, that big picture overview is because when we are in a state of energy deficiency, if we don't have enough energy to support all of our bodily functions, one of the first things that your body's just going to rule out as far as essential functions is the process of making babies. It's like, if you don't have enough energy for yourself, then why the heck would you have enough energy for two humans? You don't. Therefore, it's going to shut down that process. I mean, other effects that we see during Red S would be, okay, I don't have enough energy. So like, I'm not going to make all of this luscious hair anymore. Like, that's not essential to life. I'll just stop making my hair. And that's why we see our hair fall out. Or maybe our skin starts to, just get dry and cracked. And all these things, I mean, they are essential to optimal health, but your body's just trying to figure out, like, how do I keep my heart pumping and my lungs breathing right now? And so it's going to start shutting down processes that it doesn't feel are a priority right now. And again, whether or not as a female athlete or at this point in your life, it doesn't matter if you care about pregnancy. It doesn't matter if you want to one day have a child. It doesn't matter what you want. It doesn't matter what your goals are. You might be saying, I'm training for an ultra marathon. Of course, I don't want to, have a baby right now, but it's not about what you are rationally deciding. It's about what your body is capable of doing. And so if you don't have enough energy for yourself to function and to go on a run and to have reproductive hormones, and it's going to say, all right, I guess I don't need to have the potential for pregnancy. And so I'm going to shut down that process. I also just feel like I want to say one more thing to that is some people might think that's good. Like if you're like, yeah, I don't want to have a baby, but no matter what age you are, and saying that too, it doesn't matter. Even if you don't want to, there's other health detriments to not having estrogen in your system. So estrogen, as we're going to get to, estrogen does affect greatly your bone health. Estrogen does affect greatly your cardiovascular health. So by you just saying, oh, I don't care about having babies, so I guess I don't care about having my period, I don't care about having estrogen, it's like, well, you are going to care when your hair is falling out and your performance suffers and your blood biomarkers get out of whack, and and you don't have your energy and personality and libido anymore. Like, you are going to care. And then your bone density starts suffering, and then you get a stress fracture. It's like, yeah, that's because you don't have estrogen. And so you do need these for other things that you do care about in your life. So going on a tangent here, but I think, like, how does it actually happen? For those of you watching on video, it's crazy because over the last, I think it was 2 months ago, one of my interns, she's a registered dietitian. She's just been doing intern work for me. Sam, she's an amazing registered dietitian. So I need to stop calling her an intern, but she actually created a great handout. So I'm going to share my screen on video and just walk you through it for those listening. So why or how is estrogen shut down? It's actually through what we call our HPO axis, which is your hypothalamic pituitary ovarian axis. So having a healthy menstrual cycle depends on this HPO axis, which is a signaling pathway. It uses signals from the brain to regulate your female reproductive hormones all the way down in your ovaries. To get a monthly period, there are a few key players in this axis. Your hypothalamus is a gland deep in your brain. It's located in your brain, and it controls your body's hormone system. It releases a lot of hormones. One we're going to talk about is gonadotrophin releasing hormone. And then you have your pituitary gland also in your brain. It's a pea-sized gland just below your hypothalamus, and it produces several hormones as well. And then you have your ovaries down in your reproductive organs that does produce other hormones, estrogen, and stores eggs. So these 3 glands and areas and organs in your body are really important in this process of making estrogen. So in a healthy, functioning body, what's happening in this HPO axis? Well, in our hypothalamus, we release something called gonadotrophin releasing hormone. It actually does so it's supposed to be pulsatile throughout the day, just about every hour, every 1 to 3 hours, your hypothalamus should be releasing gonadotrophin releasing hormone. And then from there, as gonadotrophin releasing hormone is released, your anterior pituitary gland responds to that. It receives gonadotrophin releasing hormone and then produces follicle stimulating hormone. Follicle stimulating hormone is then released into the bloodstream, and it targets the ovaries. And kind of as the name implies, this hormone stimulates the ovaries to prepare multiple follicles, which then secrete more estrogen. And eventually the follicles, one might become the most dominant and largest follicle, which once enough estrogen is produced by that dominant follicle, a signal is sent back to the anterior pituitary gland to release a large burst of luteinizing hormone. And that large burst of luteinizing hormone causes an egg to be released from that follicle. And from there, we have an egg. And if one so chooses to participate and become pregnant due to fertilization from a sperm, then pregnancy will happen. If pregnancy does not happen, then the egg is just released with a bunch of blood that has collected in our uterus. And that's what a period is the excess blood, and an egg that is not fertilized is released and excreted from the body in a monthly menstrual cycle. Okay, so that's the HPO axis. And basically what's happening if you're not getting a period, if you're in red S, some people might also use the term hypothalamic amenorrhea, which is amenorrhea is not having a period. And hypothalamic is again saying I'm not having a period because this is starting in the hypothalamus. And that's what's happening during red S. If you're not getting a period because of red S, because of energy deficiency, it's coming back to the fact that your hypothalamus is not going through that healthy process that I just went through and explained. So if you're not getting a period, your body has recognized that it's under too much stress, either from a lack of energy or too much exercise, and sometimes literally psychological stress as well. And so it's going to prioritize survival processes, and it's going to shut down what the body considers unnecessary. Again, if I'm just struggling to keep myself alive, one human, then I'm going to shut down the process to support two humans, because that requires even more energy. And so ultimately what happens is it starts in the hypothalamus. Your gonadotrophin releasing hormone just stops pulsating. It becomes irregular. Ooh, I'm going to cut you guys off there. Again, this is our Patreon bonus Q&A episode. And so to have access to the full thing, you have to head over to patreon.com/femaleathletenutrition and become a member. It's $10 a month. And honestly, I went so in depth on this topic. So I think it was a really great bonus episode. You just got the sneak peek, but there was so much more. So if you want to hear that, or if you want to ask a question and get a super awesome in-depth answer, then become a member. Just head over to patreon.com/femaleathletenutrition. Tell your friends, tell your sisters, tell your teammates, tell your coaches. You can expect a bonus episode like this once a month, answering your questions as in-depth and as personalized as I possibly can. And again, it's just, I know I give so much information on the free podcast, but this is specific to members. And so I can't wait for you guys to head over and join and spread the word. It's such an awesome thing that we're building. All right. Well, I'll say to the Patreon members, I'll see you next month. But for everybody else, head on over and join if you want these bonus episodes. I'll see you over there.